Hello YouTube, welcome to Ohio CO2 Shooter. In this video we're going to follow up on the Daisy SG22, or also known as the Powerline Model 922. It's a 22 caliber multi-pump air rifle. We're going to do some velocity testing today with a variety of different pellets that I've already shot through this air rifle before, but I've never gotten any chrony numbers. So just making this video will be a learning experience for me as well as for you. So we'll start out with the Gamo Raptor PBA. They're 9.9 grain, lead free. RWS Hypervelocity, they're lead free. They're under 10, not sure. Daisy Precision Max flat nose, 13.8 grain. And then your Beeman Silver Bear hollow points, 12.65 grain. Meister Coolgan flat nose, 14 grain. Crossman Premier hollow point, 14.3 grains. The Gamo round ball lead, 14.3. JSB Jumbo exact, 15.89 grain. And then these Predator polymag, they're 16 grain. And then the heaviest will be the Beeman Kodiak at 21.14 grains. And then to keep track of the speed, I'll be using my X-Radar chronograph. It reads up to 698 feet per second. So I'll be shooting 4 rounds of each, 2 at max 10 pumps full power, and then 2 at half power 5 pumps. And I will be shooting indoors in a controlled environment, and the current temperature is 72 degrees Fahrenheit. And I'm going to start with the lead-free pellets, since I know they're the lightest. We'll use the RWS Hypervelocity and the Gamo Raptor PBA. And we will start with the Gamo Raptor PBA. Again, they are a 9.9 grain lead-free pellet, and they're very light. When getting ready to load this gun, before you can apply the safety, you must first pull back the bolt first. Otherwise, the safety, it will not switch to safe. Once the bolt is pulled back, you can switch the gun to safe. Also, when pumping, unless that bolt has been pulled back, the air will not build up inside the air chamber. So, also when you are pumping, be sure to extend the handle fully so that you hear the wisp of the intake of air, and then just go ahead and pull the lever down and repeat to your desired number of pumps. Here we're at 10 pumps max power for the very first shot. Again, Gamo Raptor PBA, 9.9 grain lead free. And to load these, I simply pretty much just rest the pellet on the breech and then just kind of roll it in with my thumb. It's easier to do from the other side because I shoot right-handed. It's a little bit easier to do with my right hand, but we'll manage. So here's the first shot. .588 feet per second. Like I just said before, you must pull back the bolt before you can apply the safety and pump air into the chamber. Unless that bolt is pulled back, if you're trying to pump air, you're just wasting your time. Here we go, shot number 2. .586 feet per second. So here's the average velocity, foot-pounds, and Joule. Now we'll do the same Gamo Raptor PBAs at 5 pumps, half power. One other note, when you push the bolt forward, make sure it's all the way in, because if you don't, when you fire the gun, the bolt will blow back. 476 feet per second. .494 feet per second. Here again is your average velocity, foot-pounds, and joules. Next, the RWS Hypervelocity. These are lead-free. They have a plastic jacket around them, and they're very light. I'm not sure the exact weight. I haven't been able to find it online, but it's got to be at least under 10. So let's pump it up. First 2 shots will be 10 pumps, max power. .582 feet per second. By the way, I'm shooting into a soft pellet trap, therefore not to create any lead dust inside. I just have some cardboard boxes with a cardboard box with a bunch of plastic shopping bags balled up, and it makes a pretty good backstop target for lower powered air rifles. Plus it's taped up, so when I'm done I can just throw the whole box out without opening it up. Here we go. Second shot, 10 pumps. 604 feet per second. Wow! Again, your average velocity, foot-pounds, and joules. Next, 5 pumps, half power. RWS Hypervelocity, lead-free pellets. The point on these is a little bit long, so they're kind of fidgety to get in there. So you kind of got to like put it in nose first and then just seat it down, and then you're ready to go. But here's the first shot. .484 feet per second. .488 feet per second. That was the RWS Hypervelocity. Next up will be the first of the lead pellets. That will be the Daisy Precision Max Flat Nose. These are 13.8 grains lead. These pellets, they're the first pellets that I bought when I got this gun. Actually, the can's 20 years old, and they were very cheap. I think they were out about $4.99 when I bought the 10. So it's probably the cheapest that I've ever run through it. Actually, I think they were $2.99 when I first bought them. So you can just see how prices of everything have gone up over the years. They're also a very dirty pellet. So just be sure, after handling any lead pellets, be sure to always wash your hands afterwards. "522 feet per second." "536 feet per second." So a 529 average, and then your foot pounds and joules. I guess technically you're supposed to have, what, 3 numbers to get an average, but well, I figured I was only wanting to do 2 rounds of each. Otherwise, this might be a very long video. So I limited it to 2 of each. Maybe I'll do another video later on after this one, or maybe I'll choose maybe 3, 4 different pellets, and we can get we can shoot like, I don't know, 10 or so of each, and see what the average is that way. But here's the first shot. Half power, 5 pumps. .438. That one jumped to 440 feet per second. Here's your averages again. Next, the Beeman Silver Bear. These are hollow point. They're 12.65 grains. They're the lightest in lead that I have. Here you can kind of see the shape. But this gun, actually, it's probably its favorite pellet. I'll do some target testing later on, but with my shooting that I've done with them before, they seem to group the best. And that's at about, it's probably about 15-20 yards. That's about max that I like to reach this gun out to. Anything further, you kind of risk, especially small game hunting, you kind of risk not a very humane kill. So I limit it to about 15 to 20 yards max. .550 feet per second. Again, these are the Beeman Silver Bear, 12.65 grain. These are the lightest lead pellets that I've shot so far. The only other lead pellet that I might have that's lighter would probably be the RWS Hobbies. I'll have to check later on. That came in at 556 feet per second. So here's your averages again. I had to change my shirt. Getting a little warm down here doing all the pumping. .458 feet per second. Pretty much with every shot at half power, you're losing about 100 feet per second. Yeah, sorry about that. I lost count for a second, so I had to dry fire it and start over. Dry firing this type of air rifle does no damage to it whatsoever. In fact, I will often pump a couple pumps of air just to clean out the barrel. So it's perfectly safe to dry fire this. .458 feet per second. So that was 2 shots at the same velocity. So that's not too bad. Next, we'll shoot the Craftsman Premier Hollow Point. 14.3 grain. These are lead. Even though they're considered a hollow point, they kind of have more of a domed shape on the head. So I guess you kind of get a little of both here. So I'm sure that helps with stability and velocity downrange. .526 feet per second. That was the first shot, 10 pumps max power. .526 feet per second. .428 feet per second. That's half power, 5 pumps. One thing that I haven't mentioned yet about this rifle, ear rifle, is that the trigger is very smooth. It breaks very crisp, and it's very predictable. And it's actually a very nice trigger. .430 feet per second. Next up, the RWS Meisterkugeln. 14 grain, flat nosed. Here you can see them. Similar to the daisies, but they are much cleaner, much shinier. Those daisy pellets that I shot before, they're as black and as dirty as the day I first bought that tin. So they're a very dirty pellet. "528 feet per second." I don't know if you can tell on the video with the sound, but this isn't a very loud gun. Even at 10 pumps, I would say it's very backyard friendly, and definitely at just 5 pumps. So it's a very quiet gun. So if you have close neighbors, you could definitely get away with shooting this without disturbing anybody. That was 530 feet per second. So here again are your averages. Now, 5 pumps, half power. "436 feet per second." "438 feet per second." So here's your averages at 5 pumps, half power. Next up, JSB Jumbo Exact. These are a dome. They're 15.89 grain. They're pretty much your top of the line pellet. I believe each one, the weight is supposed to be the same. I guess that's why you have the name Jumbo Exact, because they're exactly the same. I haven't weighed any of them. I have a scale on the way, so I'm gonna have to go through and weigh a lot of these pellets, and like I said before, maybe redo a video and shoot more of them, so we get longer shooting lines. See what the numbers are that way. But here we go. First shot, 10 pumps, max power. JSB Jumbo Exacts. These are dome and they're lead. 15.89 grain. "506 feet per second." So at 10 pumps, max power, with all the pellets so far, this gun does maintain a 500 feet per second velocity or higher. Did have that one break 600, but let's see what this is here. 508 feet per second. So here's your averages. That's up to 12.30 joules. So it has a little bit of energy, I guess, being a 22 caliber. I mean, it does have enough to take a squirrel, so, which I have done before. That's at 416 feet per second. That's 5 pumps, half power. But this is one of my favorite early season small game, I guess, squirrel guns. As you get ready further into the season, when it starts getting colder, their hides get thicker. So this gun's very good at placing shots too, especially headshots for good clean kills. 420 feet per second. Because it's a smooth shooter, being a multi-pump pneumatic air rifle. Next up, Predator Polymag, hollow point with a pointed polymer tip. And these pellets, they're very effective as a hunting pellet. I use these pretty much constantly when I'm hunting. So they're great little hunting pellets, as you can see here. Only thing about them though, they're a little finicky getting them in the breech here to load them, because that plastic tip kind of makes the pellet a little long for the breech area. So I kind of got to nose them in a little bit, and then just kind of like I do with the RWS hyper velocities, just kind of got to like nose it in, and then just kind of drop the rear end of it in, let it fall into place. That came in at 500 feet per second. So even with a 16 grain, you're in the 500s. Drop the 492. I want to try one more. So this will be 3 shots at 10 pumps max. Try to duplicate a 500. .496 feet per second. So here's your average. So couldn't hit that 500 again that time. So let's try 5 pumps, half power. Not sure if pumping fast or slow makes a difference. I may have to do a video and do a little testing with that to see if it makes any kind of difference. But here's the first shot, half power, 5 pumps. 406 feet per second. So that's a loss of 90 feet per second there at half power. But again, this is a 16 grain pellet, so it's the heaviest that I've shot so far. .412 feet per second. So here are your averages. You're still at 8.05 joules over 5 foot-pounds. Now we'll try these Gamo round balls. And they come in at 15.43 grains. And as you can see here, they just look like a giant round lead BB. Now, they do go into the gun pretty good, pretty tight. So I assume I'm getting a very good seal around the round ball, which hopefully doesn't allow any air to escape out around the balls as it's being shot through the barrel, which would definitely decrease your velocity. So we'll give our 10 pumps here and see what our first number will be. Again, Gamo lead round balls. 15.43 grains. And we are at 508 feet per second. So I assume there's a pretty good seal around the ball. So let's give it another shot here. 10 pumps. Again, fully extend the pumping handle so you hear that wisp of air intake. And then bring it back down. Just repeat your number of pumps. And now we are at 502 feet per second. So that definitely shot steady above 500. Which, well, these are lighter than the Predators. I just put these kind of towards the end with the Kodiaks since they're a different shape completely. So let's try them at 5 pumps, half power. This shot comes in at 422 feet per second. Yeah, these are nice kids. You just drop them in and they're just going really nice. They push in really good. So definitely getting a good tight seal around them inside the barrel. And we got here 424 feet per second. So here's your averages. You're still over 5 foot-pounds. Next, the Beeman Kodiak. These are a slightly domed pellet, which I should say they're a domed pellet that have a slight point to them. And they come in at 21.14 grains. These are by far the heaviest that I've shot through this. Actually, I think this may be the first time I'm actually shooting something this heavy. I usually use these in my RWS Model 34 or my 350 Magnum. So it'll be interesting to see how fast they're coming out of this gun. Alrighty, Beeman Kodiaks, 21.14 grain, 10 pumps, max power. .444 feet per second. This air rifle does have a very smooth pumping stroke. It's just very easy to do. .444. Exact same as the last shot. Now we'll do 5 pumps, half power. .364 feet per second. Yeah, that was a big goof on my part. Got a little excited there and just kind of pulled the trigger before I was set. That's a good little safety lesson right there. 368 feet per second. I'm going to try one more shot at 10 pumps, see if I can duplicate a third 444. Well, we'll see how it goes. That one jumped a bit to 446. So here's your average at 10 pumps, and then here's your averages at 5 pumps, max and half power. So there are some velocity testing with a variety of different pellets for the SG22 made by Daisy. It does go by the Powerline model 922. It is 22 caliber, multi-pump, pneumatic air rifle. Please like and subscribe, and thank you so much for watching. And I hope I didn't bore you all too much. Thank you, and tune in again later. Goodbye.